hip-hop trio. Inspect a Deck of Wu-Tang fame and Esoteric.
And 7L of Esoteric and 7L fame.
They're also one unit. He fought somebody. But,
Genius.
The group Czarface finally has teamed up with MF Doom.
The one and only supervillain.
The supervillain.
I'm trying to remember the rest of it.
There's a lot before that. Yesterday's new quintet. Victor Vaughn.
he's just making up as he goes.
He's like
Victor Vaughn.
Hannibal Buress. They've teamed up for this new record, Czarface meets Meddle Face,
which came as a complete shock to me.
Oh, absolutely!
Because I thought we're on the road to West Side Doom. I thought that's where we're going.
His collab with West Side Gun. We had one project earlier. Well, it was last year, wasn't it?
We had
we had 2 songs last year, Gorilla Monsoon and something else with West Side Gun. But
there was also
the Missing Notebook.
Yeah,
Doom's been really busy this past couple months. The Missing Notebook tapes, which ultimately got canceled, the West Side Doom collab, as well as his guest verse on Debris' latest record 3-3 with Lil Motherfuckers.
No outside, no out front.
Which is his best feature in years.
Not his best feature, one of his best songs in years. He's just awake. He's like
this. I mean, it just ended up really good.
Yeah.
Also doing production work on half of Bishop Nehru's last album, Elevators Act 1 and 2.
It was just like 2 weeks ago. I completely forgot about it.
We just reviewed it last week. And it was interesting production. He's been doing more production work, I think. But he's finally come out and began working and rapping with other artists. I actually think that the kind of concept behind this album is interesting. It's basically Esoteric, I think. Esoteric's son knows Czarface, and he knows his dad is in Czarface, and he asks who is Czarface gonna fight, and he showed him Doom, and he said, is he ever gonna fight Doom? Because to this kid, Czarface is a real hero, and Doom is a real villain, and they need to fight because they're against each other, and then they decided to team up and make this album, which is we'll get into that later, but I don't think that really shows up as much as I would like to. No, I don't think it does. But it's still either way. This is the collaboration between those two artists, and it actually ends up a lot better than I thought it would. I had no standard. I didn't listen to any singles because I want to be completely surprised. Because after the Missing Notebook, I learned to get my expectation in the West Side Doom tracks, which I personally didn't care for. I know there's people out there that actually enjoyed those, but I felt like Doom was just kind of in a slump. I felt like he was getting kind of old. Everybody's getting old. He just lost his son. That was a very sad story, but rest in peace, Doom Jr. Doom Jr. Doomjer. Doomjer, man. No, okay, we gotta actually be somber. Rest in peace, Doom's son. I felt like he's just Doom was just getting kind of old, not really. I would hate to say out of touch. He was off his game. He was out of his game. I felt like, because it felt like Doom, anything from Missing Notebooks, it just felt like B-sides. Some of them felt like he was actually awake. Some of them felt like he was just at the retirement home, just kind of lounging a lazy boy with a giant cat on his lap. But somehow he's reciting lyrics. He's just snuggled up to a nice Nothing's cat. Coming out of his mouth. He's just mouthing just snoring. He's snoring lyrics. He's sleep rapping. But it felt like Doom was just kind of just going through the motions in a sense. And he was at his point in the career where he was just kind of out of it. And which is sad. Yeah. When you hold... personally, I hold his 3 best albums, of course. Food, one of my personal favorites. Mad Villainy and The Mouse and the Mask. I hold them to such high standards, and those are some of my favorite albums ever. It's hard to see one of your favorite artists age. Not age, but he's not that old. I told you, Kool Keith is 70. I just giving Doom shit. I feel like Doom is just
dealing with, I think he's struggling with himself, which is, it's hard to see that because like I obviously think that he would have probably curled up in a lazy boy at some point, but I also think like he spent a lot of his time just kind of pacing and trying to find himself again, and honestly, I think that he does a pretty good job of it.
So my biggest problem with this, and I think we talked about this a little bit, is out of anything, I think Doom's verses are good. I think he has, like, his flow is there, that Doom wit, like I've come to expect, that Doom flow, that just strange oddity of just, like, throwing out syllables at me that make no coherent sense, but
and we're just, like, yeah,
was that tweet you saw a couple months ago? It was like Doom to the cashier, and he's like Trumbo Bumbo. It's just a bunch of random shit.
He was like trying to give an ice cream order, and the cashier was like, "What are you talking about?"
Mumbo jumbo, vanilla wumbo. It's just a bunch of random funny shit. But like Doom, that's like what I expect of Doom. It's just like it is weird. Like he's just speaking in syllables randomly at us, but it works. Like that's what makes him so special. His
wordplay and vocabulary is so vast, and he's not afraid to make references to anything. Like this guy will make references to like Sesame Street and WWE and like world terrorism in the same verse, and it's just fine.
Yeah. It's just he's so out there, and that's what we come to expect after projects like Food, Mad Villainy, Mouse and the Mask. And on this he seems flow-wise, lyrically at his own, and I think his performance is there, but he just seems quiet.
That's what I was talking about earlier. I think one of my biggest problems with this is that I don't think that the workload is split very well between, and we'll throw out 7L because he did most of the production work on here.
He did all the production work on here, I swear.
I think Doom helped some.
Yeah, he had to.
Basically, I'm saying he doesn't have any verses.
Yeah.
Inspector Deck and Esoteric and Doom, because right now I think it's split into thirds, you know?
Yeah.
There's like one or two tracks, like Astral Travelin' or whatever.
Phantoms with open mic.
Yeah. Astral Plane or whatever it's called doesn't even have Doom on it at all.
Yeah.
Or I guess he kind of does some like interlude kind of things. But I don't think that the workload is split as well as it should be, especially when Doom's face and likeness and name is on the cover.
It's called Czarface meets Metal Face.
Yeah, it should be split
with some help from Doom.
Right, it's not Czarface with a couple of Doom features, which, speaking of Doom features, their Kabang feature from 2 years ago is an absolute gem. I love that song. It's not split equally, and that bothers me because I think that at least Inspector Deck and Esoteric should have like 1/4, right? This is the pie chart. 1/4, here's Deck, and here's Esoteric, and this whole side should be Doom. Yeah, you'd think that would be like pretty reasonable, but no, I feel like it's like here's Doom, here's Esoteric, here's Inspector Deck, and this whole sliver is open mic equal.
It's one verse.
It's just a little tiny sliver.
Open mic's like, hey, can you give me stuff? He's like, oh, Doom says like, sure.
They're like, yeah, you can take it out of Doom's cut.
But I think the workload is more centered on, out of anything, I think Esoteric shows up the most out of anybody. After that, it's Inspector Deck. After that's Doom.
That's what I just said on the pie chart.
No, but I was explaining it. You were doing visuals. I was actually saying what you were doing.
Anybody with eyes can see that.
But this is also an audio podcast, so I'm trying to help out our listeners here. Fucking ignorant.
You ignoramus. But yeah, I just didn't think that the workload was split entirely too well, which is a shame because I wanted to hear more of Doom, especially when he's doing as well as he is on this project. Yeah. He's kind of back at his game. But then another problem I had is I just feel like his mic was like turned down so low, and I
just got an idea. What if this entire project, Doom's like halfway across the room? He's like screaming.
Like, all right, Doom, you stand way over there. Now, for the next one, they need to have him sitting on a throne of amps, like, to get him up to where he should be. I know his voice is low, and that's harder to pick up. I know that he's kind of quiet. Doom is never loud. Doom is the type of person that says, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, and he doesn't yell at you, and you feel bad because of it. because you just want him to yell at you, but he's not gonna yell. Doom doesn't yell, but like they need to turn this up a little bit because I feel like he was almost just kind of snubbed in a way of what his full potential could be. There was sometimes where I just like couldn't even hear his verse. I couldn't even hear what he was trying to say. A great example, Close Talker. That like the first skit on here between Czarface where he's like, what's your name?
Literally the only skit between Czarface and Doom on here. The rest of the skits are more just like random stuff, and Czarface shows up a bit. This is like the only interaction we see between Czarface and Doom.
We'll get into that here in a little bit. But yeah, this is the one where Cowboy Czarface is talking, and he says, what's your name? And he goes, Doom. Am I wrong? He's like whispering.
It's more like Doom.
I feel like he's asleep too. He's like, stop me if you heard this one. Every hero needs a villain.
That was it. That was right on the money.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But like, yeah, he's a bit too quiet on here. But like, other than that, I can't complain about Doom's performance on this.
No, I'm glad he's back. I'm ecstatic that he's back.
But like, I think for West Side Doom, they need to like, I don't know, maybe you said put him on a throne of amps. I'm thinking more. They just turn the gain on his microwave all the way up, so you hear
his microwave.
So, yeah, on his microwave, on his microphone all the way up, so you hear all the noise on the background. So it's like really messy.
It's like the Wu-Tang Clan eating chips. Inspector Deck's eating chips, and then we know where the crunches came from in 36 chambers.
That's get it right, Ghostface Killer.
Ghostface is the chip fan, but also I think Deck had something to do with it.
Like her dumb inside joke. But yeah, as this project goes, I think they have a lot of chemistry together. This is like the style production I want to hear Doom over. It's old school, vintage in a sense, like late 90s, early 2000s, like sampling that I want to hear with all these ad libs or just like these weird vocals or these weird samples, like in the trap Bombs Thrown. That's what the fuck I want to hear. That's a lot of fun. That's what I want to hear Doom over. I want to hear Doom over this like strange ass sample that keeps on playing. I want to hear clever wordplay. I think as rappers go, I think Inspector Deck gives us a good performance. I think Esoteric gives a good performance personally. I think Esoteric is like one of my favorite parts of this.
No, I don't think there's any bad performances on here. I think everybody's pretty much on their A game here.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
Other tracks like Captain Crunch,
Captain Brunch,
which we'll get into that a little bit later as well, but I think that's great. I like the track Phantoms with Open Mike Eagle and Kendra Morris, which I almost nutted over that track because like like Doom and Open Mike are like two of my favorite rappers, and I've always wanted to hear them collaborate, and on this is like perfect. Doom delivers like one of his best verses on the project, and Open Mike follows up with just a sling of just like random bullshit about talking about this phantom and just other dumb shit that you like come to expect from Open Mike Eagle, but it's super artsy, super witty, super well written, and just a lot of fun. And then after that, Esoteric and Inspector Death follow up really well on this track. I love the production on that track. This is like one of the moments on the album where I think the production's really good. I think Bombs Thrown and Phantoms are two of like the standout moments of production on this project. Other moments I enjoy on this, we talked about Close Talker. I think that interaction between MF Doom and Czarface, that's what we needed. I think Doom needed to be up a little bit more on his volume. His gain needed to be a little bit higher. But,
yeah.
Other than that, like, I wish we had more interactions. That's the only interaction we see. We don't see any other interactions between these two characters. And if this is a regular Doom project, we would get like 50 of these. Or if this, I feel like if this is maybe some Czarface's other projects, we would get 50 of these. But like, we see this interaction between the two, and they don't really take it any further after this. And I wanted more of these interactions. I want to see Doom and Czarface like actually battle or have
I want to see like a fight scene
or like an interaction, or hear an interaction between these two, and we really didn't get it. And I'm really disappointed by that, because I feel like if you're calling your project Czarface meets the Meddle face, other than collaboratively, and you give this one moment, I want more. And it's like not... I feel like this would have been a good starting moment to the project. I do like the opening "Take Your Medicine," which I just found to be really weird.
I think it works out really well where it is, but I think that they could just use more of them to kind of drive the story. Not that there is a story or anything, but I know the concept behind it. I know the backstory of it. I wanted more interaction. Like a Doom project would have, like you said, like 20 of these things where it would just be like, you know, Fantastic Four samples, or like old like Johnny Quest samples and things like that, you know, to kind of create a story out of nothing. Like the opening of Beef Rap, talking about like the prisoners, you know, the prisoners don't have any food, and Doom is like obviously like this overlord, and they try to overthrow him, you know, but he's not having it. There's like a lot of really fun moments where like you catch him in the middle of a heist, you catch him in the middle of like his everyday life, you catch him flying into New York on a jet, and everybody's talking about how the great Doom just arrived in one of like the tallest skyscrapers, and what's he doing in New York. But like here, there was just none of that, which is a huge disappointment.
And also, one of my like biggest complaints about this project is I think the closing two tracks, Captain Brunch, which is just a remix of earlier track Captain Crunch.
Yeah,
which I just don't get. Why it's not like a bonus track?
Because they're eating it later. They woke up late.
But like, it's just not. It's not like a remix where they have like guest features or anything like that. It's just they just put different production underneath it. Which, if this was a bonus track, fine. But it gives me the idea that Sleeping Dogs right after it, just like this 1 minute, similar to Take Your Medicine, this 1 minute like instrumental, kind of like goofy moment. It gives me this idea that this album really has no ending, and they really didn't finish it, which is like the worst thing about this project. I feel like.
I hope it opens the door for another one.
But like, I don't think it leaves you with that impression, because the track MSR, which I truly view as a closer, is like it's okay, but it's not a final statement. It's not like a final punch. And I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if Captain Brunch and Sleeping Dogs were listed as like bonus tracks, because potentially they are. But that just kind of left me in like a place where I was just like, I was really having a lot of fun with Doom. I was having a lot of fun with Esoteric. I was having a lot of fun with 7L and Inspector Deck. And I was like on this little dumb adventure, and everyone was flowing well together. And I came to appreciate Esoteric and Inspector Deck more. And I was just kind of left with like, just like not an ending. It just kept on going, I guess. But I honestly wish MSR was just like the final moment. And like Sleeping Dogs is okay. I honestly prefer Captain Crunch over Captain Brunch, and I think like the remix is not really worth it.
The original Captain Crunch.
But I wish it just ended after MSR, and that would have been fine. It would have felt like more of a closing statement. But like again, I do really appreciate this album. I think MF Doom comes through with some of his best performances on it. I think Esoteric, Spectre Deck complement them super well. It feels like a cohesive unit. They do feel like they all fit in line. And Spectre Deck and MF Doom kind of cut from the same cloth, two veterans of this industry. Esoteric, another veteran of this industry, kind of like, I'm not going to call him the old folks home of hip-hop or anything, because Esoteric's not that old, but like they're cut from the same cloth, they're cut from the same generation, and I think everyone just kind of flows well. 7L's he does pretty much all the production on this, and he does a good job of getting production that not only complements Czarface but Doom. Like, I think everything just flows well together. I think 7L really impressed me with a lot of production. I get moments like Phantom and Bombs Throw I thought were excellent. And the first half of this album is really a lot of fun. I think that the end, which is kind of just a sad statement because it doesn't really truly end, but I honestly really enjoyed this project. I think Doom, while he may be a little quiet, while this album may not truly really end, I think we're given enough here that I'm left away even though it's kind of a damper that we don't get a truly ending and Doom's not as loud as he should be, I'm giving it like an actual project. Like, this is like leagues above Nerivian Doom. This is leagues above the fucking the bonus notebook, whatever the fuck it's called. But it feels like a cohesive unit, feels like a cohesive group, and I hope they do more collaborations further. I just wish there was more interactions, more narrative pieces. I wish there was just more of Doom, more louder Doom, more awake, out of the old folks home Doom.
We gotta bust you out, buddy.
But yeah, I think Doom's performance is good. I think Czarface's performance is good. I think everyone does a good job overall. I really enjoy this project. I think I'm only gonna enjoy it more as time goes on. Again, Phantoms is just excellent. Phantoms Bomb Throw, two of the best hip hop tracks of the year, hands down. I love both of those tracks a lot. I'm gonna give this 8 out of 10. Like it, and I want to see more.
Sweet. I think I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm just super like ecstatic to see Doom even remotely close to, like, you know, being back on his game. He's had a hard couple of years, in my opinion. And I don't know, I'm just really excited to see that he's back at it. I'm really excited to see what else he has coming for us. Hopefully a new solo album comes soon.
Or West Side Doom.
Yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up or anything, but, you know, with Doom kind of back on this, I'm hoping that West Side Doom ends up really good.
Because, like, I like West Side Gun, but, like, I felt like the collaborations felt kind of clunky. To me personally, I just felt like it's like West Side Gun. This, like, he's up in your face, he's intense. Doom's that same kind of way. I feel like Doom's more grimy. West Side Doom's more grimy. I feel like they would interact real well, but I feel like it's just like Doom at this point in his career, it didn't feel like a good mash for me. But I'm excited to hear that collaboration, though. I hope it turns out well. And I think the Czarface meets Meddle Face record is good, and I want to leave it at that.
Also, where's Doom Starks? What the heck?
Yeah, where the fuck is Doom Starks?
I've been waiting for Doom Starks for years.
That's like the one thing. Why didn't we start the review like this? Where the fuck is Doom Starks? 0 to 10. Doom. Find Ghostface. He's probably somewhere eating chips in New York.
What if he was on a mission to do an album with every member of the wu-tang clan?
Besides that, Ghostface?
Yeah, Ghostface is just avoiding him, like intentionally hiding out from him.
I can't wait till he revives.
He's in the Frito-Lay's factory, Doom. Go find him.
I can't wait till he revives Old Dirty Bastard from the dead.
It's a hologram.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Just Doom remixing an Old Dirty. Remixing, cool. What is it? Return from the 36 Changers, the nasty version or whatever it's called.